talking really for weeks and months here about will there be an impeachment inquiry? What are Republicans going to do? Kevin McCarthy, will he give Republicans what they want? It happened today. Are you surprised it happened this quickly? It sort of, Kara, seemingly came out of nowhere. And sort of what happens next here for Republicans?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised to a degree. But I think the fact of the matter is that reasonable Americans, reasonable people, we demand answers. And if this gets us to answers, that's a great thing. You look at things like Hunter Biden's business dealings. Did they implicate Joe Biden? I think we deserve to know, as in 2014, when Hunter Biden was under official protection and met with the owner of Burisma in Lake Como. I mean, that matters to Americans. So if this can help get to the bottom of things, Representative Comer has been doing a great job. So I think this is good for the American people to get answers.
I heard her say reasonable. Is this reasonable?
Is it reasonable? You know, the truth is, I was thinking a lot about this. This weekend I was home and I got to see my son, and we read this book, Touching Spirit Bear, which is about a circle of violence and how it's ended. And, you know, you can say reasonable people believed Trump had all sorts of problems, not least of which was withholding aid to Ukraine and trying to overturn our democracy. But this back and forth of continued impeachment and impeachment where both parties completely distrust the system, I don't know how we repair that circle of trust. And it's literally eating at me, because if we don't, we are attacking the institutions that protect us and make us safer over and over and over again.
Bill, did Republicans get here what they wanted?
Yeah, I think what they're trying to do is this is more of a procedural step for Kevin McCarthy and the House Republican Conference. Because remember, the apex of the House authority is going to come when they're engaged in the ultimate separation of powers, impeachment inquiry. They don't have a Department of Justice to enforce their subpoenas like happened during the January 6th. They need to improve their standing to be able to enforce those subpoenas, especially during an impeachment inquiry. So I think what we're really talking about is the House is using every tool in the toolbox to try and to be able to get the answers that the American people, and that these investigations are beginning to produce.
As the Trump White House cabinet secretary, I got to imagine you didn't think impeachment was good then. You think it's good now?
No, I've said many times on this show, I think Nancy Pelosi's standard that she betrayed when she did the first impeachment against Trump, it should be compelling evidence, and the support for impeachment should be bipartisan. They threw that out the window in 2019 or 2020 when they started the impeachment proceedings. And I think eventually, to what Joanna is saying, I think it becomes a mutually assured destruction. Eventually, cooler heads prevail, and we start to get statesmen back into the parties that are going to try and impose some order on this, because we can't keep going like this.
I've got to say, Kevin McCarthy does not want to be doing this right now. He's being pushed into this. That's why I think you're seeing him put this before Comer and not put this to a vote. But I think he's also a student of history and recognizes that what happened with Bill Clinton and that impeachment is what caused Republicans then to lose in the midterms, and now they risk
a few hundred yards away from us right now, down up at the Capitol. I just want to give you a live look real quick at what's going on, because the top Democrat in the House is Hakeem Jeffries. He right now is starting to take questions from the media and talk about this. We'll monitor what he says. If there's anything newsy from the top Democrat in the House, we'll certainly turn it around. But, you know, Michael, I almost wonder if this sort of galvanizes Democrats behind President Biden in 2024, because when you look at the polling numbers, it's not good. Democrats are not enthused with the top of the ticket. 50% say the president doesn't have the need, only has the needed stamina and has the sharpness to be the next commander-in-chief again. 67% say, Democrats, that the Democratic Party should nominate someone else. But if it gets to the point where there is an impeachment trial in the Senate in 2024, are you gonna have some of your friends saying, "Yeah, let's go Biden. We need to back him"? Is that what's coming?
I think voters are sick of Washington, and I think by impeaching Biden, you're going to cement his support, and you're also going to put a lot of vulnerable Republicans in swing districts in trouble, because they're now going to have to decide whether or not they support this, or whether they're going to have to, go against their party. And that's a position they don't want to be in, especially when the House is so close with redistricting going on. And now Republicans could potentially lose the House purely because of redistricting. You put vulnerable Republican members, up for vote. This could be a disaster.
There are so many more important things that we have to focus on. There they are.
Well, look, it's all-consuming, and there are a lot of implications, a lot of consequences. Again, we saw this time and again in the last administration, and it feels like this is just the next step in this administration.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.